Hey everyone, welcome to Feast and Fasten. Today we're going to be showing you how we made our very own Murphy bed. Let's get to it. Today's video is made possible by Easy DIY Murphy Beds. Click on the link in the description box below to get your own Murphy bed hardware kit. We built a full or double size vertical kit, but Easy DIY Murphy Bed has a variety of different sizes to meet your project needs. We had a full bed in our guest bedroom that was taking up room and rarely getting slept in. We wanted to save some space and cut down on some clutter, so we decided to construct a Murphy bed that can be folded up when not in use. I found the hardware kit to be of excellent quality with heavy-duty powder-coated hardware, quick shipping, excellent customer service, but most of all, a comprehensive set of instructions. It isn't possible for me to cover every step, but they provide you with a copious amount of resources to get your own Murphy bed project completed. First things first, I went over the cutting guide and items list and made a trip to my local home improvement store to get the materials I needed. I don't have the best setup for processing large sheets of plywood, so I had an employee rip down the plywood into more manageable pieces. I used a saw guide, my miter saw, and a table saw to process the pieces per the cut sheet. Per the instructions, you will need 4 sheets of 3/4 inch plywood and 2 sheets of 1/4 inch plywood. It's definitely worth noting that if you don't have these tools yourself, you could have your local home improvement store process these pieces for you. They usually do 2 cuts for free per piece that you buy, and then charge you a quarter for every cut after that. I made sure to label all the pieces as I went in order to maintain some sanity during the painting and assembly process. I then laid out the pieces and removed as much dust as I could on both sides to prepare for painting. Before painting, I used some wood filler to fill the voids on the edges of plywood and sanded them down, repeating this process several times until everything was smooth. You could also use edge banding. Next, Julie and I started painting. We looked at a variety of finishes, but we wanted a good durable finish, so we went with the satin paint to protect the cabinet. We studied the instructions and only painted the visible surfaces and edges of the bed to save on paint as much as we could. After the first coat, I put on some ridiculous clothes and practiced my dance moves with a power sander. I then applied a second coat. After the paint dried, I began installing hardware on the bed rails that would snap into the air pistons. I did have some tear out when drilling my holes, so I would recommend clamping a scrap piece on the underside of the board you are drilling. I also drilled the holes for the legs at the foot of the bed. The bed rail hardware looks really sturdy, and I think it's going to hold up for years to come. Next, I began assembling the mattress support. The mattress support has 6 sets of 2 1.5-inch pieces joined at a right angle, and these are all brought together with vertical pieces on the edges. I laid out these pieces, making sure everything was even and square, and attached them using wood screws. After this, I attached the header and footer to the mattress support assembly, then the side rails, clamping everything up, making sure it was flush with the bottom of the assembly, and using screws to attach it. I also used pocket hole screws for the header and footer portions of the mattress support assembly. This gave it a little bit more structural integrity, and everything just felt a little more solid after doing this. After the first part of the mattress support assembly was complete, I laid out the front panels to the cabinet and joined them together using pocket hole screws. We then laid the mattress support assembly on top of the panels and tried to get everything lined up and ready to attach permanently. The mattress support assembly has 3/4 inch gaps on each side and at the foot of the bed. We then used Titebond Quick and Thick to spread on the mattress support assembly, and we dropped it into place and attached it permanently using wood screws. After this, I attached the hardware that Julie and I picked out from Tuscan Iron's Etsy shop. It had a really rustic, antique looking feel to it. The shipping was fast and the product was reasonably priced, so it turned out looking really good. After this, I attached 2 sheets of 1/4 inch plywood to the top of the mattress support assembly. This is ultimately where the mattress will rest. Finally, I completed the mattress support assembly by attaching a strap for the mattress about 20 inches from the foot of the bed. Once the mattress support assembly was complete, I started to work on the cabinet. I measured, marked, and drilled 2 holes on each inside surface using a Forstner bit for an inset required for the hardware. I then marked, drilled, and attached the hardware to the cabinet sides for the upper air piston connector and the hinge mechanism on each side of the bed, while my son practiced his pickpocket skills. This time I clamped boards to reduce tear out when I drilled my holes through the cabinet side. Once the hardware was attached, I started to work on the top of the cabinet. I glued and screwed the 2 outer pieces and the rear panel to the top assembly. I also attached 2 pieces together that would serve as the stop so that the Murphy bed closes flush to the cabinet assembly. After the top was ready, I prepared the headboard and the upper brace by drilling a series of pocket holes in each piece. Once the pieces were ready to be assembled, I had a really generous neighbor stop by and help me move the mattress assembly into the room, and I placed the cabinet sides into place. A small spacer is placed on the hinge mechanism between the cabinet side and the bed rail, and the hinge extrusion is pushed and locked into place on each side. The top was then clamped and screwed to the cabinet sides. After this, I attached the upper brace and the headboard using pocket hole screws. There was essentially no weight on the cabinet at this point, and we were able to lift it into position on the wall. I lifted the assembly into the cabinet and Julie held it while I attached the air pistons to the lower bed rail piece and the upper cabinet piece on each side of the bed. Now we were ready to anchor the bed to the wall. I found 3 studs and drilled through the rear plate of the cabinet top into the studs to anchor the bed. After this, the stop plate was installed on the top of the cabinet to keep the bed flush with the cabinet. Julie kept the tension off the plate while I attached it to the top. I used an old guitar amp to weigh the bed down while I attached the lower leg supports. The holes were previously drilled, so this went really smooth and the bed was ready for a mattress.
Dad, you did it! You made the bed, right?
This project has completely transformed our guest bedroom space. We are excited to have a much more usable space without sacrificing the comfort of our guests. If you want to do a Murphy bed right, check out the link in the description box below to get your kit. The kit runs around $250, but will provide you with a reliable and safe Murphy bed for your home. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button and subscribe to Feast and Fasten to see more DIY projects and healthy recipes from our home.